방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Just 3 weeks away from the 2025 re-elections and by-elections. What does this mean for Busan? Well, this is an election for the education governor, or we say 교육감. Things have been moving really quickly in the last 24 hours, with the race expected to go from 5 preliminary candidates to just 3. But still, things are getting really political, more so than ever for this position. This may be inevitable given the current state of the country's political landscape. But let's think about this. This office, what is it for? It's about overseeing the education system and schools. And we hope to hear about their pledges and positions about these important issues real soon. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Wednesday, March 12th on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. So I took a little peek at our YouTube chat room today. Apparently today, who is number one? Kosu. Congratulations. Hey, by the way, have you been getting these text messages or even phone calls? I mean, it has been incessant, meaning like constantly I've been getting these messages. And, like some of them, like I get a phone call. And then so I pick up and they're like, oh, this is, and then I say, 저 투표 못해요. And the thing is this, okay, so I kind of, in the beginning, read what some of their messages said, and I was like, but what's your policy? Like, what are you standing for? I don't know. Anyhow, so yes, that's what's coming up. The education governor election, or you can say the education superintendent's re-election. With 3 weeks to go, we have seen a lot of changes and the potential ballot with the preliminary candidates. So the conservative camp finally came to a unified candidate. So the person's name is Chung Seung-yoon, the former vice chair of the Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission, who won the nomination once again for the conservative sphere. However, former acting education governor Choi Yun-hong is considered a conservative, but did not participate in that candidate unification process. So once again, we have Chung Seung-yoon, and then we have Choi Yun-hong. And in the progressive sphere, we have the former education governor Kim Seok-jun as the likely candidate. Yesterday, former president of Busan National University, PNU, Cha Jung-in, decided to withdraw from the race. And then the final candidate, former Kimhae Girls High School principal Hwang Wook, also dropped out recently. So that's why we are down to presumably 3 candidates thus far. So it is D-3 weeks. And like I just said earlier, I mean, have you really heard much about their actual education policies? Like I said, I did parse through some of the messages and I'm like, I don't really know what you're standing for, even though, I presumably can't vote for you. But anyhow, much of the campaigning, debates, they've been really political, with candidates attaching themselves to the current or former presidents. Pundits say that while this could get them a political support base, it could also be an obstacle in attracting the moderate voters, the people in the middle. Others point to the low voter turnout, about 20% range in by-elections or re-elections, as a reason that these candidates are trying to gain traction through political means. As we're getting closer to the election date of April 2nd, that's in 3 weeks, it's time to hear what their actual positions are. Don't you think? Don't you want to know what they're really, standing by, supporting, pushing in terms of policies? I certainly do. Because once again, this is education. And if Korea is not the land of education, I mean, what is it, right? We absolutely think education is important. So speaking of education, here's our text topic. Are you ready? Here we go. What were your first private classes or lessons? And your last. Ooh, maybe you're in one right now. 자, 나의 첫 학원과 마지막 학원은 무엇이었나요? 그리고 그러니까 사교육 다 포함하는 거예요. 첫 학원은 예를 들어서 in Korea, I know the most common ones are like piano, right? Or I don't know, nowadays like you hear like the really like 뭐 마술 그런 것도 있고요. What about like the cooking classes for the little kids? Or maybe you did the 주판? Or is it the whole like 국영수? Like 국어, 영어, 수학? So whatever your first private lesson or class was, I want to hear about it. Plus your latest or last one. I'll go first. My first private lesson was in the piano. Who was the teacher? My mother. And that was unpleasant, so she sent me to another teacher. In the States, it's much more of a private lesson kind of thing, at least back in the day. There was no such thing as a piano 학원 where you actually go and there are multiple pianos like they have now. So there was none of that. And then right after that, she enrolled me in violin, lessons. And then my first private class where there are multiple students and one teacher was an art class. So in that art class, I learned how to sketch. I learned how to work with pottery and different types of paints. I loved it. The bad thing is, it was right next to a taekwondo studio, even back in the day. And right next to it was another dance class kind of studio. Guess what my tiger mommy did? She enrolled me in everything. So I was forced to go to art, and then right after I went to taekwondo, and then right after I had to go to dance class. This was when I was 4. It was a little much. So anyhow, that's me. Let me know about your classes or lessons. Send them into BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. So go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM, 부산영어방송, to check out our channel. Click on subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers. On your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on our Kakao Talk account as well. You can find us, BEFM, 부산영어방송, to add us as well. The ways you can listen to us. I love the fact that there are so many different ways. 90.5 or 103.3 FM. That's on the radio if you're in the Busan area. And like I said, we're streaming live right now on YouTube. You can watch again at your leisure. And we have 2 apps, the BEFM app or the 팟빵 app. The latter, you can listen to our 와글와글 segment. Guess who's coming back? Leon for In the Now. She's back. Let's welcome her in hour number 1. In hour number 2, we have Jennifer for Skills 101 scheduled to come in. And our special interview. I know gold. Gold has been such a hot topic. The question is this. Is it too late to get in on this gold rush? I say it in jest, but let's find out because a lot of people are asking this question. And, those gold bars are apparently really scarce right now. So let's turn to our expert in hour number 2 on that topic. I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:08. It's time for today's headlines. Opposition lawmakers launch hunger strike calling for Yoon's impeachment. Some lawmakers of opposition parties launched a hunger strike yesterday, calling for the Constitutional Court to swiftly uphold President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment. Air Force dismisses 2 unit commanders over mistaken bombing. 2 Air Force unit commanders were dismissed yesterday over the accidental bombing of a village in Pocheon last week, the armed services said, citing charges of dereliction of duty and insufficient supervision. Country unveils additional steps to boost birth rate. Major airports in South Korea will offer a fast-track service to families with more than 3 underage children starting June as part of measures to boost the country's birth rate. Yellow dust to enter South Korea from this afternoon. Yellow dust from China's Gobi Desert and Mongolia is forecasted to spread into the country, starting with the western coast from this afternoon. Ukraine agrees to U.S.'s 30-day ceasefire in war with Russia. Ukraine says it is ready to accept a U.S. proposal for an initial 30-day ceasefire on the land, sea, and sky with Russia. And the U.S. will restore intelligence sharing and security assistance to Ukraine. These are today's headlines. It's time to check in with Sue for Busan Updates. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Good morning, Wavers.
Yes, it's hump day already. Can you believe?
Yeah.
Week is going by so fast for me. But how about you? We want to know about your first private class or lessons or hagwons. When did the learning begin? In what subject?
Can't remember the exact age,
Yes.
but just like other, Korean citizens, my first private lesson was piano.
Oh, piano.
Yes, and I got better at it. So my parents became super ambitious to the point that I remember when I was in my 6th grade, they sent me to piano hagwon at 7 o'clock in the morning before school started.
In the morning?
Yes.
There was a piano hagwon open at 7 a.m.?
Yes, just
Only
for
in
me
Korea.
or for some.
Only in Korea.
I know. So
Really? You must have been talented if they sent you that early. Or they were just trying to get rid of you. 빨리 가.
I think both. But anyway, it was too much for me. So I was I'm not doing this anymore. So I quit. But now I'm an adult, so I regret it.
So
Yeah.
어디까지 쳤나요? 체르니?
네.
체르니 몇 번? Do you remember?
I think 30번.
30.
Yes.
아.
I should have pushed more.
Ah.
Can I tell you about my last private
Yes,
lesson?
of course.
It was in Korea, after I came back from Canada. I took tango lessons.
Tango. We have a real dancer. We need
don't
to
think so.
see.
Aspiring dancer. But
Oh, wow.
yes, it
How
was
long did you take lessons for?
for 6 months. But I had to stop because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was a great time of my life.
Wow. I
For the
wanna
time being,
know.
yeah.
Can you show us a little?
I don't think so, but I forgot everything.
재미없어요, Suni. Okay, now that she has left us really disappointed, I'll get her to do it one of these days. But hey, let's jump into our first update. A Busan city will provide up to 1.8 million won to 1,000 unemployed youth for their job-seeking efforts this year, correct?
Yes. The Youth 디딤돌 Card Plus Points program provides monthly support of 300,000 won from May to October for 6 months. So to receive the support, unemployed individuals need to be 18 to 39 years old and live in Busan and have a household income of 150% or less of the median income.
Yes.
And since 2019, Busan has been helping over 1,000 young job seekers every year. And with a total of 6,362 people have benefited from the program so far.
Yeah, so what expenses are covered with the provided points?
So basically anything that helps with their job search, like taking tests, exam fees, certifications, tuition for academy, textbooks, food, or even stationery. And but there are some restrictions. They cannot spend the money at liquor stores, furniture shops, jewelry stores, or pet-related businesses since they are not directly related to finding a job.
Okay.
And if a participant secures employment or starts a business within 5 months, they will receive a job success incentive of 300,000 points, which will be issued through 동백전.
Oh, okay.
And young adults who want to participate can apply online through the Busan 청년 platform website and find the Youth 디딤돌 card. And the deadline is March 28th.
Oh, that's coming up towards the end of the month. So if you are in this category. Yes, definitely apply for this. Next up, let's get to this. Busan Jinhae Free Economic Zone Authority plans to boost the coffee industry.
Yes. So part of the strategy, this 부산진해경자청 will focus on Busan new port in Jinhae and actively push forward with its implementation.
Yes, yes. And so, what's the significance of this whole Busan new port in Jinhae?
So Jinhae New Port is located in Changwon, which is a neighboring city to Busan. And it is a new port area that is being developed to strengthen the global competitiveness of Busan Port with the goal of making it one of the world's top 3 ports. And they took into account that the Busan New Port in Jinhae handles 94% of the country's coffee imports. So it makes it a key gateway for the industry.
Okay.
So they've set up a special task force with industry experts. And to expand the coffee industry, key initiatives include making it easier for businesses to import, store, and distribute coffee beans, and helping coffee manufacturers set up shop near the port, and advocating for tax benefits in free trade zones. And also they're planning to improve storage with cold chain logistics. This is the process of managing temperature-sensitive products. And they will set up shared warehouses and offer consulting and marketing support to coffee-related businesses.
Yes.
And on top of that, the Busan Jinhae Free Economic Zone Authority wants to study global coffee logistics, create a network of industry and research experts, and host seminars and forums to keep the industry growing.
Ah, yes, yes. So obviously we're hoping that this Busan Jinhae Free Economic Zone Authority will really help this region, right? So thank you for sharing this. Let's talk about English waves. This is the title, not our program or our station. English textbooks designed for young children and early elementary school students. They're now available, correct?
Yes. So the goal of this initiative is to expand opportunities for English education and ease the educational burden on parents.
Yes.
And a total of 32 books, including 8 storybooks and 8 workbooks, tailored to different learning levels, are offered.
Yes. So what makes this textbook so unique, though?
So it uses a Finnish style, like play-based learning method to help children learn English naturally. So by diving into the culture instead of just focusing on the language. The best part is they've incorporated Busan City's iconic landmarks and local culture like Haeundae, Dongbek Island, and the Busan Fireworks Festival into the stories, using the city's communication character Boogie to make the whole experience fun, relatable, and engaging for children to learn English.
Oh, nice.
And the English Waves content will also be used in programs like 들락날락 영어랑 놀자. And early childhood education centers in the city will be able to use the resources as well. And English Waves textbooks and audio material are available for free online through the English-friendly Busan website and the 들락날락 platform.
Yes.
And the city emphasized that they will continue to work on developing and expanding programs to make Busan a place where children can easily learn English and parents don't have to worry about their children's English education.
Yes, yes. So I actually want to check this out. I want to see because you made it sound so interesting with all the local elements that are added in. So I definitely want to look this up. All right. Lastly, one of Busan's major tourist attractions, the Gwangali drone show, I hear might include like now a laser show. So it was all about the drones, right?
Yes, I cannot imagine with the combined effect with laser. Suyeongo District is considering expanding the Gwangali M drone show into a drone and laser show. So starting next year, and the plan is to present a 20-minute laser show right after the regular drone show, which is held every weekend. And the concept is inspired by Hong Kong's Symphony of Lights show,
Yes.
홍콩의 빛의 교향곡 show, which is a nightly light and sound show across the Victoria Harbor in Hong Kong.
Okay.
That uses music, lasers, and fireworks on landmark buildings. And the district plans to conduct a trial run to see if a laser show is feasible by the end of this year. And they're also considering installing over 6 high-power laser beams and searchlight devices on the 광안대교 Bridge's piers, 다리 기둥, and roadway.
I see. So if they do go with this, it'll be even more fantastic with with all the drones and the lasers, right? Well, thanks for going over all the local updates. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Catherine.
And here's your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. So there's some backup on Mandok-dae로 right now from Minam to Mandok intersection. Also congested on Dongso overpass from Pyeongtaek to the old Kaegum tollgate. Also some heavy traffic on Chungjang-dae로 from Jungangdong intersection to Chungjang overpass. And it's slow going on Gwangnam-no from the KBS 3-way intersection to Dongbang 5-way intersection. Currently, it's 8 degrees Celsius. In Busan under clear skies, it's expected to go all the way up to 16 today. But once again, there's a big temperature gap between day and night. Across the nation, light rain forecast for parts of Chungnam, Jeolla, Jeju, and the capital. Finest levels in the capital area and Chungnam are bad, and yellow dust is forecast to spread across the country starting this afternoon to evening. So make sure to grab your mask on your way out today. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for News Digest. We have Haley here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yay. So let's talk about your first lessons, hagwons. What did you learn?
And speaking of me being a real dancer,
Uh-huh.
one of my first lessons was taekwondo. First of all, green belt. Remember, nothing. And then ballet. Guys, I took ballet. So I am a trained dancer. As her eyes are just, this is her polite face. This is her,
Right.
you are so full of something, but I'm
Really?
being polite because we're on air. And then piano. And we had an extensive chat about this over
Yes.
our group chat. Because maybe I'm just not like artistically talented. I have my talents elsewhere.
테렌이 어디까지 쳤어요?
무체르니가 뭔데요? 먹는
파엘,
건가요?
파엘?
파엘? I think so. Pael. Yeah, because I don't know. I blame my teacher. Was just not a nice lady. Yeah.
You know what I used to like detest about like piano?
Being taught by your mother.
Yeah, no. That lasted only like 6 months because like there was like 등짝 smashing involved and like I was too young for
You know,
that.
as someone
Yes.
who's tried to teach my sister stuff, I think the unpleasantness was probably mutual.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Don't teach your family.
I used to hate piano 하신 분들은 한은 아시죠? The very
warm-up?
basic warm up. And I used to like just not like that part of piano because to me it was so boring. And I know looking back, it's like so important to building up your technique, the basics, right? 근데 the Hanon part, like, you know, because my piano teacher would insist minimum 20 to 30 minutes of Hanon before we got into the lesson or the good part, right?
The good part. That's so funny because I like
Right.
the Hanon.
Oh, you
that
like the
part I
Hanon.
could do because it's just technique.
Repetitive though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I have zero creativity cells. Zero.
So I was just like, can't we skip the Hanon? And Mrs. Huber, bless her soul, she would always be like, no, Catherine, that's the most important part. And I'd be like-
Fundamentals are so important. Yeah.
and even at that young age, I was rolling my eyes like, okay, here we go. Hanon again. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, like real basics, right?
My latest class,
Yes.
though, pottery.
Oh, pottery. Yeah, you
I
mentioned.
took a 1-day class, made some pretty pots, and my
Yes.
mom's like, you should go back because we need rice bowls. She's like, can you make like 4 identical rice bowls? I'm like, Mom,
Identical
like
is hard.
identical. Are you
Really
serious?
hard.
Like, I don't even know how I made these plates. So yeah, all right.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into our first story. This is regarding the impeachment trial. The whole country is waiting for the verdict to come out, and when might that be?
Right. Of course, the biggest question is what will the verdict be?
of course.
But then the second biggest is
Yes.
when are we going to hear it? So we're looking at three possibilities. The earliest being this Friday, which
Yes.
was the most likely option. That likelihood is dwindling. So now we're looking at next week, the 18th and even the 21st
Right,
at the
right.
latest. So ever since closing arguments took place on February 25th, the Constitutional Court's justices, they've been meeting almost every single day to deliberate. Initially, again, the most likely possibility was the 14th, this Friday. This is from the previous two impeachment cases of former presidents 노무현 and Park Geun-hye, because the Constitutional Court took about 2 weeks to deliberate and announced a verdict on the Friday that fell 2 weeks after closing arguments.
I see. However, this seems less and less likely now, correct?
Indeed. So that's because, number one, President Yoon Suk-yeol's side, they brought up issues with not only the charges themselves, but the procedures. So it's both 절차적 and 실체적 쟁점. So there's just more to consider.
Sure.
And then now there's the variability of the courts having canceled President Yoon's detention. So his defense may argue that the investigative authorities, the prosecution and the CIO's statements should now be ruled out of evidence. And then a big decision came yesterday. The
Yes.
Constitutional Court announced that it'll announce the verdict on the Board of Audit and Inspection Chief and Seoul Central Chief Prosecutor and the other prosecutors' impeachments tomorrow. So that comes almost 3 months after the impeachment motions were introduced. However, this also means with these major cases verdicts coming out tomorrow, it's really not likely that another major, perhaps the most major verdict will be announced just the day after.
That's true. And then the authorities, they're basically on edge waiting for this verdict. I mean, we're all on edge.
Right, but
Yes.
there may be security issues
Sure.
either way. So the area around the Constitutional Court, so we're talking about 서울's 안국역, 안국 Station, that area has been the stage for consistent protests and rallies, both for and against impeachment.
Right.
So schools near Anguk Station, there are elementary, middle, and high schools. They're looking into canceling classes for the verdict announcement day, whenever that might be.
Okay.
Even now, especially for younger children, parents and even school officials, they have to come out onto the street to escort the children because to shield them from, well, a lot of there isn't physical violence, thankfully, but there's a lot of violent rhetoric that's being thrown around that are not appropriate for children to
It's so
hear.
loud.
So loud. I mean, speaking of which, that is constant noise pollution for classes. So the police have also announced that they will shut down gas stations on the day of the verdict should there be any attempts to take over and there might be flammable material involved.
see.
And finally, this definitely raised my eyebrows. The police are even considering banning gun sales or at least supplies or deliveries of already sold guns after the court announces its verdict date, not just on the day itself. This is to prevent any plans or acts of terrorism.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
The status, the state of our country right now. All right, so moving on, we've been talking about this, the stagnant demand in the country for some time. And now there is some stark proof. Spending on education actually went down in January.
It did. So
Yes.
this ties to our text topic, but demand and spending froze so much in January, so much so that people actually spent less on education. So this is according to the Credit Finance and Association's figures on card spending for the first month of this year.
Sure.
Most sectors, they saw a decline in sales compared to the previous year, January of 2024. This includes 1.8% drop in accommodations and restaurants. People
Okay.
just weren't traveling, eating out. Biggest drop was in transportation by 7.6% and education. So we're talking about kindergarten, public and private education,
Yes.
and even vocational training. Card spending here was 1.74 trillion won, still a major sector,
Yes.
but that is minus 5.5% compared to the year before.
Well, that's significant.
Right, and this is actually the first time in 4 years that we saw this decline. And keep in mind, 4 years ago was the smack in the middle of the COVID pandemic where
That's
you
right.
couldn't physically and legally be at some of these academies because they were literally shutting down. So industry insiders say that education spending in Korea is often considered the last resort in terms of spending. So a decline in this category shows how tight things are in individual households.
Yes, definitely. As a person who is still, raising, educating my own, but on a personal note, happy, my little one.
Do you see the light? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
End of the tunnel.
It's been a long
see
tunnel.
It. Yes,
That was a long tunnel.
Right. At the same time, though, the private education zeal, the fervor, the enthusiasm, so many words to describe what we have in this country, it continues.
And it never ends. And a lot of private education institutions take advantage of uncertainties. And now in high school, where it's always at the peak anyway, the newly introduced high school credit system, 고교 학점제.
Yes.
So this is kind of it's meant to give students more autonomy, have their career search kind of start early, where high schoolers can pick and choose their classes.
Sure.
First year of high school, 고1, they would focus on the common prerequisite subjects and then really fine-tune that second and third year. And main subjects have now been switched from a 9-tier 9등급 system to 5 tiers. However, reports show that parents and kids are now visiting education consulting companies. And let's see, some in Gangnam after the high school credit system went into effect. And these consultants are saying that you have to have a 3-year plan, starting with well-rounded first-year classes, going in depth across second and third year. And by the way, these consultant prices, they go from 3.5 million won, 350만 원 for one semester to 6.5 million, 650만 원 for unlimited consultations.
I'm in the wrong field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
we all
actually real costly. Why are these programs so popular?
Because, again, uncertainty.
Yes.
The schools are not providing clear guidelines.
They're not.
They're really not.
For sure.
So according to
Yes.
경향신문 analysis, over some 60 high schools nationwide, the schools themselves don't seem to be fully prepared, at least for now.
Right.
So 15 out of these 60 schools surveyed have given no guidelines to students. 25 didn't notify the parents. 3 didn't provide any training, at least so far, for the teachers.
Oh, the teachers.
The teachers who
guide the students.
Exactly. And 16 of them have no plans on what to do for students who have not reached the fulfilled credits or the requirement of credits. And by the way, I almost didn't, and this was in the US, which had the credit system.
Yes.
I almost didn't graduate high school because
Because?
I was short 1 trimester of PE credit. And so it happens to to anyone.
Yes,
right.
yes.
I was on like the top of my game in high school.
Right.
So the Education Ministry's second inspection of these schools is at the end of March. So specific guidelines would likely come out then. But
Why not before?
Exactly.
Before the semester begins.
But then we are talking about a country that counts like D-days to 수능 from a year before. So even that 2-week gap is a huge gap for the
yes.
parents and the students.
Indeed.
So this creates anxiety, and private consultants are targeting this, saying that the credit system makes the relative or the comparative competition all the more important.
Indeed. So let's move on to our final story. It's all about health, right?
Right. And then, once you get to, so there's all of that in high school and then college, jobs, and then you like shimmy on to your 30s and 40s. And the most important report card is your health. So get your cancer screenings.
Are we
암검사.
clapping it
Get
off?
your cancer screenings.
Okay.
So according to the National Cancer Center, and why am I shouting this? Because 40% of you have not. And why not? So we are seeing some good news. Big jumps in colon cancer screenings, mostly colonoscopies, 대장 내시경, and stomach cancer 위암 screenings. They're always high at about 77%. Also, the health ministry is looking to change the system to have colonoscopies, 대장 내시경, be the basic option for colon cancer screening because there's still the option of bringing in your stool.
Number 2.
Number 2,
Yes.
right. But as for why 40% of you are not getting your cancer screenings, of them, 43% thought they were in good health.
But you're not a doctor.
Do you have a
MD?
colonoscopy system
Right.
at your home? So others didn't have enough time at 17%, and almost 17% saying that the screening process was too tough. I know some people, the is it barium? What is it? The thing that you're supposed to drink before? Right. I know it tastes. Well, I actually don't. I'm not at the age yet, but I've heard it tastes horrible. But you gotta.
No, they have like different flavors.
Okay, but the flavors aren't like.
And I think these days, like it's not as much. Like before, you had to drink like
2
liters or
right,
something,
huge
but it's not
things.
as much these days.
Right. But by the way, so where is the schedule? So once you reach 40, and this is covered under your health insurance, stomach cancer, 위암 screenings every 2 years once you reach 40.
Yes.
Colon cancer, 대장암 every year once you reach 50.
Sure.
Breast cancer for women every 2 years once you reach 40. Cervical cancer, 자궁경부암 every 2 years for women 20 years or older. Lung cancer and liver cancer is covered for high-risk individuals. And by the way, you get the chat messages and alerts consistently. So please get your screenings.
Well, thank you for the reminder. And we'll check in with you in hour number 2 for Waga. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, now it's back to you, the listeners, for our text topic today. We're talking about private lessons, tutoring. What was your first class? What was your last or latest? Looking at some of your messages. Betty says, for me, it's about learning mathematics. Basic math was my last. And then before, taekwondo and one more, basketball. Oh, really? So all over the place. Sports and math skills were one of the main ones. So very interesting to hear about your learning. 이름 waiver says, 전 학원을 어릴 때 다 합쳐서 1년을 안 다녀서 의미는 없지만 그래도 첫 학원은 초중 때 피아노 1주, 2주 정도였고 마지막은 고등학생 때 종합과학 학원 한 달 이거였던 것 같아요. 굉장히 뭐라고 할까 단기적으로 짧게 다녀 맛보기 or for whatever reason you went and maybe you felt like you didn't need to continue. But yes, so definitely it seems like, you go 학원 shop, not you per se, but people. A lot of people do kind of shop or look around looking at the different 학원s. And I do wonder though, like, how much do you learn, right? As an adult, even going to any of these classes, I want to hear more about your latest classes as well. All right, for now, let's get to our cat's pick for today. For today's Cat's Pick, I want to cover this story. We've talked about this person many times, Rodrigo Duterte. He is the former president of the Philippines, and now he has left Manila after touching down real quick after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for him. Let's listen to the clip from ABC News Australia.
Arriving at Manila Airport, the Philippines' former strongman leader walking with a cane and towards his arrest. His daughter Veronica Duterte captures the mayhem live streaming on social media. The former president was detained and taken to a nearby military airbase, where Veronica continues filming. Her father asking to see a copy of the arrest warrant.
What is the law and what is the crime that I committed? Show to me now the legal basis for my being here.
The International Criminal Court warrant accuses Duterte of crimes against humanity during his war on drugs as president and mayor. At least 6,000 Filipinos were killed during that campaign, according to official figures, but human rights groups put that number much higher. Devastated and angry supporters are gathering outside the airbase where he's being held.
I'm sad, dismayed and angry at what happened. Duterte is old and he did not deserve what they did to him. What he did was for the Philippines. The time that he was the president was peaceful.
It's very sad that during his time, he didn't recognize the rights of the thousands of people he killed. He did not give them due process, nor did he give them an opportunity to defend themselves in court, but rather resorted to extrajudicial killings.
Now, many victims of the war on drugs were drug users and dealers, as well as activists and human rights defenders.
These are dissenters, opposition, members of activist groups and human rights advocates and human rights defenders who were mercilessly killed during the many years of Duterte because President Duterte is intolerant of dissent.
After the arrest, Mr. Duterte was taken to a nearby military airbase accompanied by some family members while supporters gathered outside. He and his lawyer claim that the arrest warrant is invalid in the Philippines.
So as you heard in that clip, that is the latest. So he apparently is en route. He might have landed already, going to The Hague to face the International Criminal Court they're accusing him of crimes against humanity over his deadly war on drugs. So we're going to continue to follow this story. This was Cat's Pick for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
Guess who I found roaming in the hallways outside? Leon. Leon is back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm so
It's
glad
nice to be
you.
back.
Yay. So when did you get back? Like a few days ago? Or?
Yes, less than a week. Last Wednesday. So.
How has it been kind of like reacclimating back to Korea from
I know
abroad?
everyone's saying how warm it's become, but I did come from like one
warm
of the
place?
warm
Warmest places on earth.
Yes. So I was so cold. I'm always shivering because I can't. I think I'm trying to get used to the coming back to the winter.
Sure.
months. But still appreciating, my families and my friends. I was quite lonely back there because I was just alone most of the time.
Oh.
But happy to be back.
Oh, well, glad to have you back. So, by the way, this is In the Now, just in case you guys are wondering, what was that segment again? Yes, it's In the Now with Leon. Well, what are we talking? You look so fancy today.
We're talking
Did you
about
like dress
this
up?
today.
Just for
I
me?
dressed
For what?
like a Friday night out. But
On
I
a
dressed
Wednesday morning.
On a Wednesday morning.
At 7:41.
Yes. So the topic of today was, because in the now we're always talking about what's trending.
Yes.
And I want to talk about what fashion trends we can expect this year.
Hence the fashion.
So I want you to take a look.
Okay.
Should I stand up? Because I did put an effort to, dress up.
Okay.
There's 3 trends that I have put on my body for today.
Do you mind standing so we
I
can all get
stand
it?
up.
Oh.
So from top to bottom,
I see 2.
what do you see?
Okay, I see
Everyone see the pants too?
see-through.
See-through.
한국말로 see-through.
Ding dong ding.
That's one, right?
Yeah, see-through's one.
And then layers.
Layers.
No?
Can you be more specific?
Well, your top is layered. I don't see layered pants. No?
Okay, it's layered skirt.
Oh, it's a
it's
skirt.
like a layered
like a one
dress.
piece. It's a layered
it's like
skirt.
layering a dress
over a
like
top?
pants.
Over
is
pants.
kind of like the trend.
Okay.
That's one more and last one. Can you guess one more? It's the flare pants.
Is it? Don't tell me it's because of Kendrick Lamar.
I was gonna talk about it. We actually
really?
have this photo ready in the later on the show.
No, because ever since that song, that image, that walk,
step.
that step, I've been doing it too, and my family says, "Can you stop?" Because I do it in the kitchen. I do it everywhere. I do it everywhere.
It's always in the back of your head.
It is.
And makes you want to walk that way.
That way, it does, right?
In the parking lot.
And it's even J-Hope,
always
everybody.
on SNS.
Right, everywhere.
It's so funny.
Right.
But it's kind of died down these days, right?
It has
was
a little.
So hot the last
In the
week.
beginning, though, I was just walking that way everywhere, and then they would be like, "I don't know her." I was just
Catherine,
because I would do it
to be walking that way
in the most random places.
I love
obviously in my
it.
off time, not at school.
Oh, not at school.
Not
You
at
should
school.
have done it at school. Your students would have been like, wow.
They would have been like, "What's wrong with her?"
Coolest professor ever.
So that's what we're talking about?
Oh, so yes, that's
Okay,
what we're
sorry.
talking about. That is why I'm so dressed as a Friday night out fashion. But
Yes.
we are talking about this. So the first one I want to talk about is see-through. See-through in Korean, but it's actually an English word,
See-through.
right? See-through trend.
근데 그거 머리도 있는 거 아시죠? When they say see-through bangs, it's the
yes.
이렇게.
Is that
curtain
an
bangs.
effort to?
No.
have-
I had no idea what the topic was. I just saw it
Are
right
you
now.
trying to see through today?
No. But I'm
I
just saying.
see.
That's how it's used, the
Yes,
word.
it's used a
See-through.
lot of the times for hair and fashion as well. So, it's actually, there's a practical side to this trend. I know it makes you look pretty, it makes your silhouette showy. But interestingly enough, there's climate change impacting global temperatures. So, lightweight and breathable fabrics are becoming more of like a necessity than a style choice.
I see.
So beyond comfort, the sheer trend is also, about confidence and self-expression because it does really show your body silhouette a little bit more. And it also plays into the theme of fashion being more about individuality. Like, I'm going to show who I am rather than sticking to the strict rules. So,
Whoa.
yes.
Leon, thank you for not coming that
Exactly.
sheer. That's
I'm
sheer.
the Korean version.
The Korean morning
sheer.
wave in Busan
right.
version.
But,
That
when
is
I was
sheer.
searching for images of sheer,
Yes.
that's the images that we're getting.
Just so you know, see-through and, stateside, we use the word sheer a lot. That was a lot of
Yes, that is
sheer.
true.
Yes.
A lot of sheer.
Just pointing
look.
that out. Yes.
Yes, and also one more thing. It's a sheer look. It is a bit of revealing of the skin, but also the trend is it's also about layering and playing with transparency, which is what I did today.
Yay.
Sheer on sheer. So it's one of the standout looks this year is layering a sheer dress over pants.
Oh,
which
like
is
you're
exactly
doing-
what I
what you
did
did today.
today. I actually bought this last fall. And it was like, they were telling me this is the trend. So I was like, oh, I want to get it. This is trendy.
Oh, you
I like-
knew.
I like
You're
being
an early
trendy.
adapter.
So that's what happened. And so, fashion houses have been showcasing this delicate, flowy sheer dresses being worn over tailored trousers. It's adding, some dimension to your outfit.
Sure.
And it's also a bold way to mix, feminine dress with the structured elements of a tailored pants. So
Right. It looks
it's
so
quite
good.
fun.
I'm glad you showed us. But the whole I want to talk about the bootcut flare because
Yes.
I am a huge fan. I still have my old jeans.
Okay.
The bootcut flare jeans.
Bootcut
'Cause
flare?
Everybody
You
says,
never threw them out.
No,
Good
'cause
one.
Number one, I spend a lot. I mean, back in the day
you
when
invest-
jeans,
Oh,
it was,
those
were
major
really
brands?
expensive.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's like, 버리기 너무 아깝잖아요.
Yes. And
So I
jeans,
kept
it's
them.
like, if
Yeah.
you find the right jeans, you can never let go of it.
So I handed them down to my little daughters.
Oh, okay. So
and
they're
so
wearing it.
thankful.
Oh,
Right.
because it's like so in trend now.
and then the quality is still good.
Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah,
So we're gonna talk about the flare jeans, which is coming back.
yes.
And yes, first, we G-Dragon, he's, very active these days.
Yes.
And there's a lot of talk on the media about like what he's going to wear because whatever he wears is
It's
in
like
fashion.
right?
And a lot of people, the buzz online was, is he going to bring skinny jeans back?
no,
Because
please.
that's what he did back in those days. But fortunately, he did not bring skinny jeans
Thank
back
God.
because
Yes.
flare jeans are in. They're coming back. And so you might remember them from the early 2000s, but they are back with a bit of a modern twist.
Sure.
So unlike the ultra wide flares of the recent years, there's like a sleek through the thigh and subtly flare at the ankle. So
Right.
it's not too much of a nappal.
Yeah, we don't want the bell bottoms.
Yeah. It's a small nappal.
Yes.
Yes, and it's more of a polished look. So, but I've bought jeans last year and the year before because baggy jeans were so in
Yes.
trend. 완전 통바지, like 청바지 too.
Yes,
and
yes,
then
yes.
cargo pants in jeans. And
Right,
also,
right.
So I don't know what I should do because I've bought so many. Now should I go back to buying some flare? Because
But don't
I've
throw
thrown
them out.
I've thrown them out.
Oh, really?
Long ago. You're the smart one.
No, but the
Because
thing
fashion
is,
always comes back, right?
like my daughters are like, oh, we like the flare, like the little bit of flare. I didn't have like the
Oh, you didn't have like the crazy.
no, the crazy flare. So they can, but then the only thing they mentioned was, why is the waist so low, Mom?
Oh, yeah.
Putting in the waist is different, and I'm like, it's okay, cover it up with a
I
sweater.
don't think the low waist is gonna come back.
I don't
for
think.
a while.
I don't think it's gonna come back. However, I was like, if you throw a sweater on,
Oh, it's okay.
you can't even tell if it's low waist or high waist or whatever it is.
But
Throw a
those
sweater on.
MZ generation love those cropped, tops. So if you got a crop,
And they're
you
like,
need the
isn't this too much
oversized.
skin? And I was like, yeah, just don't.
Too much
Yeah,
skin.
and don't wear like the thong with the low waist.
Oh, no,
not
no,
a good
no,
look.
no.
Yes, right.
Yes, and also we did talk about Kendrick Lamar and his steps, but if everyone's probably seen that video at
But
least
just
once.
in case,
Yes.
do we have a photo of him?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
See, but that's
So-
just like the right amount. It's not like
It's not
bell-bottomy.
too much. It's almost like baggy, but a little bit of
Just a little bit.
wide on the bottom.
Because I'll be
Which is-
honest, I really did not like when the skinny jeans look like on a guy.
Oh,
저는 개인적으로 조금.
Yes, you
좀
know that was in
부담스러웠어,
trend
like-
when I was back in college, and all
Guys
the
in-
Korean guys at my school were wearing skinny jeans. But
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
I was wearing skinny jeans back then too. So
I think
don't
on
think
girls
it's-
okay, but I
I
mean,
don't think
just for
skinny
guys.
jeans is coming back for a while though.
Yeah, like people are saying,
wonder
yeah,
why.
they're hoping skinny jeans don't come back because
It
like
doesn't make you look that flattering. I feel like
unless you're like
unless you have like a pute of like 3 to 7.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
삼대치 like
Yeah, we need to cover up our
yes,
pute.
exactly, and anyhow, so
Yes. So Kendrick Lamar also his outfit at the Super Bowl performance
Yes.
played a big role in really really making this flare jeans quite popular. And so one more
I wanna know, though.
fashion trend.
do we have any colors?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Here we
did
go.
you? I actually found this out as I was preparing for today's segment. We always talk about the color of the year. What
Yes.
colors in fashion? Do you know how that gets chosen?
By whom and by how
And by why, right?
Yes,
Well, first of all, this year's color of the year
is
is mocha mousse, which
mocha
is
mousse.
We have a picture of
Let's see mocha mousse.
That's kind of like the color palette you
that's
should
really
expect.
pretty.
It's very mocha-ish. It's like
Problem
fall
is-
tones.
Like if I wear anything like that, I will blend in with our curtains.
Oh yes,
Our lovely, lovely curtains in the background.
like camouflage into it.
Right.
Maybe more of
But I love
the
it.
fourth person, like
Yeah,
the
a
darker,
little bit darker.
and
That's
play
really
with kind of
pretty.
the fabric. Maybe I feel like I'm a fashion expert, but
Oh,
I'm not.
I see the sheer again, the guy,
Yes, yes.
the male
Oh.
model. That is so sheer.
He is so in trend, sheer and mocha mousse.
Yes.
But yes, so the interesting thing is the paint companies, the major ones like we know, the Pantone and other
yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
they're the ones that come up with the color of the year, interestingly enough.
Like, what do they do? Like, spin a color wheel and say,
Actually,
This
if
year,
you
mocha.
Oh, right. So if you actually go onto their website, they have like
Right.
this whole, reasoning behind
Oh,
why.
really?
Because they look at the, the media, the environment, the industry, how it's changing, all those things to come up with a single color. So what they're saying this year, why it's mocha mousse, is because they feel like it's it shows a collective desire for stability in uncertain times because mocha is a very warm kind of color, and it's also a color that feels both timeless and modern, and it's versatile enough to work across fashion, interiors, technology.
That's true.
I mean, brown. It's very
it's
very
a neutral color. Yeah.
It's 무난한 color, you know what I mean?
Right.
So as people are seeking familiar and warmth in their surroundings in these uncertain times, this color mocha mousse, what they say is offers a kind of sense of reassurance. And that is why they're decide on the color, and we're seeing a lot of fashion magazines like Vogue and, other companies coming out with all these different outfits that you can wear in this mocha brown color.
Right. So if we had to recap, the color of the year is mocha mousse. I love the name of it.
Mocha mousse. It's not just mocha. They had to make it sound special with the mousse.
Yeah, make it fancy. Mocha mousse. Not just like
I want a
brown.
mocha right now, actually.
And then with the sheer layering.
The sheer layering.
And then the slight
sheer on sheer.
Sheer on sheer. And then the slight flare.
Slight flare. Whether it be
Yes.
jeans or black,
Whatever
jeans
it
or-
is. Well, now we know. So we can be more fashionable thanks to Leon for In the Now.
Yes.
Well, welcome back. Thank you so much for dressing up once again at 7:41. It was in the morning.
It was
We
quite fun.
appreciate your effort, and of course, we'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Leon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Speaking of like sheer and see-through, how about See-Through by Primary? Enjoy. We'll be back at 8.
bartender 뭘 마셔야 해 그래 그걸 넣어줘 Cause it's red 음악 바뀌었네 uptempo 그래도 난 여전해 downtempo 술은 안 마셔 그냥 색깔이 맘에 들어 골랐어 그때 널 봤어 빨간 스컬 빨간 립스틱 That's a point 넌 저기 서서 거들고 있는 멍청한 여자들과는 달라 I see through you 넌 볼듯 보이지 않아 yeah. 안타까운 게 저라만 봤대 I see through you see through you I see through you see through you 요즘엔 되는 일 하나 없네 내일 또 일하러 가야 돼 bartender 한 잔 더 가게 줘봐 여기 크레딧 카드 줄게 친구들에게 한 잔씩 쫙 돌려줘봐 hey hey 한도 초과 그냥 춤 좀 땡기다가 집에 가고 싶어 엉뚱한 여자 앵기잖아 이제 적당히 길 좀 부리다가 갈래 밤새는 건 좀 무리잖아 친구는 피했어 몰래 나갔다가 왔어 어디가 걸렸어 그때 널 봤어 빨간 스컬 빨간 립스틱 That's a point 넌 저기 서서 떠들고 있는 멍청한 여자들과는 달라 I see through you 넌 볼듯 보이지 않아 yeah. 안타까운 게 저라만 봤대 I see through you yeah. see through you yeah. I see through you see through you 왼쪽으로 1번 다시 뒤로 4번 오른쪽으로 2번 가도 없네
Your bridge to the world. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제,
B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded. What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It is now 8 o'clock. This is News Highlights. Opposition lawmakers launch hunger strike calling for Yoon's impeachment. Some lawmakers of opposition parties launched a hunger strike yesterday, calling for the Constitutional Court to swiftly uphold President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment. A group of opposition lawmakers, including from the main opposition Democratic Party, or DP, the Rebuilding Korea Party, and the Progressive Party, shaved their heads in protest outside the National Assembly and set up tents in Gwanghwamun to continue their rallies. The opposition sphere also demanded Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung to resign from office for releasing President Yoon, while calling on the ruling People Power Party, or PPP, to disband for allegedly obstructing Yoon's impeachment. Air Force dismisses 2 unit commanders over mistaken bombing. 2 Air Force unit commanders were dismissed yesterday over the accidental bombing of a village in Pocheon last week, the armed services said, citing charges of dereliction of duty and insufficient supervision. The officials are a colonel-level group commander and a lieutenant colonel-level squadron commander, who were identified to have breached their duty to abide by regulations, said the armed forces. Separately, the Air Force said it plans to hold a meeting next week to deliberate on whether the 2 pilots who flew the fighter jets will be qualified to continue to operate aircraft. Country unveils additional steps to boost birth rate. Major airports in South Korea will offer a fast-track service to families with more than 3 underage children starting June as part of measures to boost the country's birth rate. The Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy said that the government will also push for other benefits for families with children, such as additional qualification points when they apply to the state-run housing program. In May, the government will launch a pilot program to provide school commute services to help working parents, while revising necessary policies to promote pro-multi-child family culture. Yellow dust to enter South Korea from this afternoon. Yellow dust from China's Gobi Desert in Mongolia is forecast to spread into the country, starting with the western coast from this afternoon. The Korea Meteorological Administration, or KMA, said that the yellow dust is expected to approach the 5 western border islands in the Yellow Sea and along the western coast of Gyeonggi Province this afternoon, before expanding throughout the country starting tonight. Fine dust from outside the country is also expected tonight, with the National Institute of Environment Research forecasting dust particles to reach level bad in the capital area and Chungnam. Ukraine agrees to U.S.'s 30-day ceasefire in war with Russia. Ukraine says it is ready to accept a U.S. proposal for initial 30-day ceasefire on the land, sea, and sky with Russia, and the U.S. will restore intelligence sharing and security assistance to Ukraine. The agreement came following talks between senior U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia, with U.S. President Donald Trump saying he now hoped Russian President Vladimir Putin would reciprocate. If this agreement were to take hold, it would mark the first ceasefire in more than 3 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. And this was News Highlights. It is now time for Wagelwaggel. Haley's back.
Good morning again.
Yay. So I remember you said your last class was like a one-day pottery class. So I do want to like really shortly share the last class that I remember taking was a ballet class with my girls.
Ooh.
So it was an adult class, and they allowed my 2 girls to join. So we did it together.
Nice.
And it was a really good experience.
I hear it's a great workout.
It is. After that 1-hour session, all 3 of us every time would be like moaning, like, and like barely able to get up because they work your core muscles.
I mean,
like,
you see ballerinas, they're like all muscle.
And we would be like, the kibun, the warm up to like actually standing up and trying a little bit of ballet.
Right.
It was like 20 minutes of just like on the ground, on your back, working those cores and abs and like, open your legs and just, it was like a Pilates class.
It is like Pilates, flexibility, it's core.
But it was so much fun. So,
did you wear tutus?
We weren't at that level.
Oh,
but so the tutu thing, it was more like if you have like a performance, she would say. But usually it was like you were required to wear either like the tights.
Right.
But all the ladies would usually, wear wraps or like a wrap skirt. Not like a tutu. A tutu is like a flared out.
The ballerina
skirt.
Yeah.
And the wrap skirt it just sticks. And it's very pretty though when you do a turn. 살짝, and that is also sheer. 왜 자꾸 웃으시는데요? 기분 나쁘네요.
Was it Mocha Mousse? Should have been Mocha Mousse.
No.
She keeps giggling. Why are you giggling?
Why are you giggling?
She's imagining.
And you're laughing, imagining?
Rude.
So rude.
She's so anti-dancing.
I know.
And so like against fun.
No, but the instructor she kept on saying like, yeah, like keep on coming back.
Ooh.
So we did it for about 3 months. And then, because of 애들 학원 다른 거 해야 되잖아요. So it was a very short-lived thing. But just wanted to share that.
That sounds like fun.
Let's get into our Waga first story. A recent court ruling on field trips has teachers kind of reeling.
Right.
What's going on?
So we have to rewind back to 3 years ago, but the court case just was recently announced. A 6th grader who was on a field trip got hit by a bus in the parking lot and died. So this was clearly a tragedy, but a case has been going on for the past 3 years over the culpability, basically who is to blame.
Yes.
So this happened in November of 2022 in Gangwon. A group of 6th graders were on a field trip at a theme park. They just gotten off the bus, and the bus was on its way to park. However, one student was 20 meters away from the rest of the group when they got hit by the bus and died. So the 2 teachers teachers who were guiding this trip, they were indicted for professional negligence resulting in death, 업무상 과실치사. So after all this time, the court last month ruled that the homeroom teacher was guilty and sentenced them to 6 months in prison, suspended for 2 years. However, the assistant teacher was found not guilty. So the court said that the teacher had this duty as a guide to the trip to look over her shoulder frequently to make sure that the students don't fall out of line. However, the teacher did not. And the court said that the teacher initially blamed the bus driver on everything and caused this kind of public misunderstanding.
Yes.
Saying that it seemed as if the teacher's negligence should have been protected under teachers' rights.
Well, apparently there were some misunderstandings or misrepresentation of what the student was doing at the time of the accident, though.
Right. I don't know if any of our waivers remember this incident. Again, it was from November of 2022, but it was initially reported that the student had snuck out of line. 몰래 빠져나갔다. And but that had then incited criticism over, well, then that student was a troublemaker. You know, not, of course, that doesn't mean that he or
no
she
one
should
deserves
have exactly
to get into an accident.
However, the prosecution's investigation revealed that the student was actually tying their shoes. So it wasn't that they snuck out of line. They're tying their shoes. So they just, had no choice to be 20 meters away. People just walked past them. But upon this ruling, though, the Teachers Associations released a statement saying that in this case, if teachers cannot be protected over what happens on field trips, then schools should stop these field trips altogether. Actually, a lot of schools, this is kind of starting to be that prime field trip season.
Right.
However, many schools are not. For one, it was over COVID, and then next it was because there are new rules and laws on charter buses needing, seatbelts and child-sized seats, and many just are not equipped to do this. And also, teachers have the additional burden on, well, then now that they have to look back every so often. Well, how much is every so often?
Right.
So there were cases, however, where teachers were acquitted, meaning found not guilty, when they were deemed to have fulfilled their duty to be cautious. However, experts therefore called for specific guidelines. Once again, ambiguity breeds anxiety. So they need manuals to ease such anxiety.
Right, for everybody, because from the parent's perspective, obviously you're sending your kid off to a school trip and you're thinking, I expect my kid to come back safely. But for the teachers as well, like if there's only one teacher for every 25 students or however many students he or she may have, that is an extra burden as well.
It is usually a matter of resources and staff, right?
So such a tragedy. Well, let's move on to our next story. This is regarding Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, and the government efficiency, we'll say czar, right? Has not been having a really good week.
Well, I don't know about him personally, but his companies are not. So first, with President Donald Trump's comments that he's not ruling out a recession, or at least that the U.S. is in a transition period. Okay, no company right now is having a good week as stocks have tumbled to their lowest in years. So stocks plummeted, including Tesla stocks. So Monday was the worst day for Tesla, local time. Shares plummeted 15%, worst since September 2020. It just wrapped up its 7th straight week of losses, potentially on its 8th week, which is the longest losing streak since it debuted in the stock market period. Tesla is under physical attack as well.
Physical
in the States, notably in Oregon, but other parts as well. Tesla dealerships are being vandalized and attacked. So for one, Salem, the capital of Oregon, this one person threw a Molotov cocktail. So it's basically 화염병, right? And a month later, gunfire.
Oh, gosh.
Shot at it. Thankfully, no one was injured, but other Tesla dealerships across the U.S. and the very symbolic Cybertrucks have been attacked as well. And many authorities are saying that these are for political reasons.
And the thing is this, he's not only the CEO of Tesla, but his social media company X, formerly known as Twitter, apparently targeted as well.
Right. So X experienced several outages just on Monday alone. Over 1 million, I believe.
Yes.
And Musk on Monday claimed that this was a targeted massive cyber attack and that claimed that the IP address came from Ukraine. But I'm going to quote an expert, Professor Ciaran Martin, who is at the Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government, said that this explanation was, quote, pretty much garbage.
The professor said, right.
So this professor served in the British National Security Bureau, said that this attack looks like a DDoS, the distributed denial of service attack, DDoS, where hackers basically flood the server with internet traffic. And the professor said this is actually kind of it's an old school attack. And for a company of excess size and international renown to be under this kind of old school attack, it does not look good for the company.
I see.
Was the point. So, but by the way, why Ukraine? Well, of course, Musk has been very critical of Ukraine ever since that brawl between President Trump and President Volodymyr Zelensky. And over the past weekend, Musk said that Ukraine's entire front line would collapse if he turned off his Starlink satellite communications provider. So, yeah. Again, eventful week.
Yes,
and it's only Tuesday in the States.
Right.
Yeah.
And, of course, we never condone violence of any kind against anybody. So just wanted to get that out there. We all know this. Staying active, it's good for us, including things like walking. But experts can't seem to agree on just how many steps should we be getting? I mean, we always have is it the manbo?
Yeah, seriously.
How many
just
steps?
Give me a number because the convention is manbo, 10,000 per day. Are you anyone show of hands getting 10,000? We're getting a resounding no. Also, okay, guilty looks. Yeah. So my weekly average is about 7,000. Yeah. If I run, I get 1,300, 1,500.
Right.
But then if I'm walking, my walking days, 5,000. Anyways, there was a study that I've covered before. That's why my goal is 7,000 because that particular study said getting about 7,000 to 8,000 will give you similar health benefits. But now the stakes are higher.
Yes.
15,000.
15,000?
15,000보.
진짜.
I'm like, 정말요?
숫자 내리는 게
I'm like, 굳이요? 그렇게 해야만 하나요? Do we have to? Well, all right. This is for your benefit. This is according to a report on Journey Mondial. Walking 15,000 steps will fundamentally change your metabolism. 신진대사. So basically, it's not just the benefits from walking, but if you get 15,000 steps in, even as you're sitting, your body's burning more calories. Burning more fuel. So it boasts wide range of health benefits like reducing insulin resistance, improves, remember, leptin, which is the hunger-controlling hormones, throwback to Bonnie yesterday, lower stress hormone cortisol, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So it also has cognitive benefits, like boosting your hypothalamus, HEMA, which decreases, your hypothalamus functions decrease with age.
Yes.
So I'm citing another expert, the Mayo Clinic's Dr. Michael Jensen. The human body is engineered to move way more than we are right now because our ancestor, let's go back to the Paleolithic times. When they were nomads, they walked between 15 and 20,000 steps, and our body still craves this level of activity.
Maybe their bodies.
Have we not evolved?
I know, does that
know,
apply to us?
Apparently
I'm just
so.
kidding.
I kid. But also, really,
on days I take the subway, though, I definitely notice, if I check, 8,000 to 9,000.
Right.
Because, there's a lot of walking downstairs, upstairs, and getting to the subway, and etc. And then, I have a neighbor. She happens to work where I work near my school.
Oh,
and
nice.
then, on Monday, she's like, "Hey, I'm on my way back to Hyundai. Would you like a lift?" And I was like,
Yes.
Yes.
Are
and
you an
today,
angel?
she's like, "Do you need a lift again?" Because we get off at the same time. I was like,
right.
Really, Hannah? You want it? Okay. And then
You
now
wanna
I feel
drive me?
guilty. I'm like, should I just take the subway? Let me think about it. Well,
Let me
speaking
know.
of aging well
Yeah.
and staying active, these elderly women are going back to school.
Right. So last week was the week of, those entrance celebrations, 입학식, and among the college freshmen were Ms. Kim Gang-yeol and Mo Bu-deok, who are both 87 years old.
87.
Right,
Going back to
among the
school.
new class of 2025 at Sungmyeong Women's University Future Education Center. Also, 84-year-old Im Tae-soo, who, by the way, was the oldest applicant to the SATs last year.
Yes.
So the president of the university put the Letterman's jackets, the 과잠, right? 과잠 on them and said that there's no age, no restrictions to learning. It's never too late to start a new challenge.
Wow.
And Ms. Mo said that anyone can learn and study if they have the perseverance, 끈기. And actually for Ms. Kim, she had to drop out of elementary school because of economic reasons, as things often were.
Look at her and her 과잠.
I love it. I love it. She actually lost her husband at a fairly young age, raised her 5 daughters by
On her
working
own?
on her own by working as a scrubber. 세신. She worked in the 세신
okay.
in bathhouses. But she returned to school at the age of 80, starting with learning Hangul. And here we are. So it's never too late.
Oh, it is so not late.
Yeah.
Not too late. And for the person who laughed at me when I talked about ballet across the room,
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
And get your 15,000 steps in.
Right. And so like Souvenir saying like 하루 평균 8,000보인데 거의 2배를 걸어야 한다. I know. I feel the same way.
Can we all like draft a letter to this
우리 너무
research?
지금 다 같이
researchers?
한수 막 같이 합시다. Okay, so we're going to end it on that note. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get to your traffic report. It's time for your traffic update. There was an accident on the Dongso overpass going away from the city on Pumnikor ramp. There was a collision between a car and a cargo truck, so please be aware of this and avoid this area if you can. Also, congestion detected on 중앙대로 from Chwacheon 3-way intersection to Yeongju intersection. Likewise, heavy traffic on Byeonglo going away from the city center around the Wondong ramp. Also slow moving on Nakdongdaero from Gwaejong intersection to Hadan intersection. It is already, are you ready for this? We're in double-digit territory right now. 10 degrees Celsius here in Busan. Under clear skies, it's going to go up to 16. Across other parts of the country, light rain forecast for parts of Chungnam, Jeolla, Jeju, and the capital. Plus, fine dust levels in the capital area and Chungnam are bad right now. Additionally, yellow dust 황사. It's coming today to spread across the country starting this afternoon into the evening. You're going to need a mask. So this was your traffic and weather. And this is Too Bad by G-Dragon featuring Anderson .Paak as requested by Kosu.
우리 낮추겠다 미두두두두다 beautiful 살짝 그 척 like it 살짝 봄봄만 좀 그 listen to today guess I'm 모르게 damn is that good baby girl too bad for me there you go too that ass on me all I want is an arm's reach break me off passionately baby girl too bad for me there you go too that ass on me all I want is an arm's reach break me off passionately 겐가민가 어딘가를 가래 플러팅인가 블러핑인가 You got me MBTI가 sexy type 내 섹시나해 GDB like that and 예민하세 I don't think so Baby girl too bad for me There you go too that ass on me All I want is an arm's reach Break me off passionately Baby girl too bad for me There you go too that ass on me All I want is an arm's reach Break me off passionately. You do say to me, the chills running through me. I feel same. On me, I'm still running till I reach. You do say to me, the chills running through me. I feel same. On me, I'm still running till I reach. Come do something to me right now. Come do something to me. Come do something to me. Too hot to touch, show me. Come do something to me. Come do something to me. Come do something to me. Baby girl, too bad for me. There you go, too that ass on me. All I want is an arm's reach. Break me off passionately. Baby girl, too bad for me. There you go, too that ass on me. All I want is an arm's reach. Break me off passionately. You do say to me, the chills running through me. I feel same. On me, I'm still running till I reach. You do say to me, the chills running through me. I feel same. On me, I'm still running
Welcome back, everybody. So we have been talking about first private classes or lessons and maybe your latest or last one. So going to the Kakao Talk board, we have Kate who says, hi, my latest 학원 was a singing class about 4 or 5 years ago. I wanted to learn how to sing better. But my singing skills haven't improved for the better. It was like a fancy 노래방, as she says. Oh, but I was thinking about this. I would love to go to a singing class to learn how to sing better. That would be a lot of fun, actually. We have another message from Young who says, when I was little, I took piano lessons and got up to a 체르니 40. 체르니 40까지 했대요. I still remember my teacher, Fiona, clapping along with the metronome. 아, 그런 선생님이었구나. 이거 metronome. Oh, okay. While teaching me, on days when my fingers got all messed up, I just wanted to quit so bad. Now, I barely see kids going to piano academies anymore. And it really makes me feel like, oh, how much times have changed. I've actually heard this too. I don't know if it's scientific evidence, but some of the piano 학원s and taekwondo 학원s that cater towards the young kids, some of them are shutting their doors because there's just fewer students, fewer young kids. So that might definitely be kind of a sign of the times. So thank you for sharing those messages, your thoughts with me. Now let's get to our special interview. Gold. Gold has been a hot topic as of late, and many people are wondering if, for example, just lay people, should I buy now? Or have I missed the boat? Have I missed a good chance? As of March 11th, gold is trading at around $2,900 per ounce, driven by a weaker U.S. dollar and global economic uncertainty. So some say, yes, gold is a safe investment during unstable times, while others worry that it might be really just too expensive right now. To help us better understand what's happening right now, and basically the question, what's with the price of gold? Here is Professor Dirk Bauer, Professor of Finance at the University of Western Australia's Business School. So let's say hi first. Hi, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Yes. So first of all, if we can go over the price of gold right now, seems awfully high. So what would you say? What's driving this right now?
Well, first, the price is high, yes, but that doesn't mean that it cannot go higher, right? And what's driving it? There's 4 factors in general. There's jewelry demand. People that like to wear it, like in India, that's very popular, also in China. Then technology, industrial demand, there's just a little bit. Then investment demand and central bank demand. And what has recently driven it over the last couple of years was increased central bank demand.
Yes. So those are the 4 factors. And so when we look at gold right now, because a lot of people are wondering, just lay people wondering, does it mean that it's maybe too late to get in on this, to buy gold, whether to have, just for safekeeping, because you want it as an investment? Is it too late?
Yeah, it's not too late. It depends on your horizon, on your investment horizon, right? If you're in there for the long term, if you're not looking for a short-term gain, then it's not too late. When we look back, gold has performed very well, not just recently, not just this year, but over many decades. So for investors that have a long-term perspective, the price is relatively high, as we know. It's an all-time high, but it doesn't mean that it can get higher. So that's my advice. And in general, gold, any investment should be part of a portfolio anyway, right? So I'm not advocating to put all your wealth in gold, but just a little bit.
Yes. I'm also curious, Professor, do geopolitical events such as things right now going on, trade tensions, wars going on, does this hugely impact the price of gold, the fluctuations thereof?
Yeah, it does. So geopolitical risk is generally increasing or tends to increase the price of gold. Currently, we have two factors. The trade tensions also worry people that inflation could be higher in the long run, or the prices could go up. Consumer prices, because tariffs usually increase prices. So that is also usually good for gold, because gold also goes up when inflation expectations go up. And the second part is that, like a trade war, extreme events, disruptive events, or even crises also kick in this safe haven property of gold, which is then also good for the price, and then prices also go up. So there's two things. Inflation usually pushes the price up, and extreme events, safe haven events also push it up.
And so also historically, though, I'm very curious, Professor, like, why has gold always kind of remained somewhat of a standard when it comes to like investments or just to have? Why do people always kind of turn back to gold? Is there a particular reason?
Well, gold has been kind of money and like a safe asset store of value for millennia. So it's maybe in our DNA anyway. But we also had the gold standard many years ago, right? And that could be part of this belief that, well, it has been around forever. We had the gold standard. Central banks still have a lot of gold and now increasingly buy it. So then investors think like, okay, seems to be a good alternative, or maybe in some cases, maybe even be the first thing that comes to mind when people are stressed.
And for people out there who might be thinking like, oh, should I invest in gold? What might be some of the good sides? But also, I do want to ask you about the downsides or the risks of doing so as well.
Yeah. So gold, like any other asset, is not absolutely safe. Nothing is ever absolutely safe, right? So whenever you invest in, it can go down, it can go up, and that's also true for gold. So the upside is, it can go up. The downside is it can also go down. It's a volatile asset, and people have to be aware of that. That's what I said earlier. It should be part of a diversified portfolio, so that you put maybe 5 or 10% of your wealth into gold, but not all of it.
Yes. And we have quite a few people who are asking in our YouTube chat room. They're saying, is it time? Is it time to sell? It's kind of a common question that I'm getting right now. So if people have gold laying about, or they have the gold bars, whether it's in their jewelry, is it a good time to sell?
It depends, I mean, if you want to stop investing, right, and go on a holiday and not invest anymore, then maybe. But in general, I wouldn't sell.
Oh, you wouldn't?
Like there's a lot of uncertainty out there, geopolitical risk. The world is changing, it seems, and in those times, to sell gold is, I think, not a good idea.
Interesting. So you already mentioned that gold is a volatile asset, does go up and down, obviously, but relatively speaking, is it one of the safer investments, or in your opinion, are there better options out there?
Well, it's one of the safer investments. Better options, not really. There are other options like high-quality government bonds. Our fixed income is a good alternative or an additional option. But as I said before, nothing is ever safe. Gold is not absolutely safe, but nothing is. So gold is relatively safe compared to stocks, for example, or lower grade, corporate bonds or government bonds.
And for people all around the world, we have listeners from all over, but many, of course, here in South Korea, obviously. So the big question is, once again, you did kind of allude to this already, but if people are thinking about investing in gold, it's not too late. So I do want to ask once again on the behalf of people. We have a stream of questions coming that are people want to know, is it too late? It's not too late?
It's not too late.
Okay.
But investors, in South Koreans, your listeners should be careful. Again, don't put all your wealth in it. It's not too late, but don't increase your your allocations beyond 5, 10%, right? If you have a diversified portfolio. For South Koreans, South Korea is part of the world economy, well integrated to the world economy. So gold has similar roles for South Koreans than for other investors on the planet. So in that regard, South Korean investors gold's role is not very different for South Koreans than for other investors.
I see. Well, I do want to thank you so much for your time and expertise on this very hot topic right now. Thanks for joining us today, Professor.
Thank you.
This is Professor Dirk Bauer, and we talked about this, like what is going on with the price of gold, because you may have heard that like gold reserves are kind of, scarce right now. So kind of people are wondering, who's buying up all the gold? Should I be getting in on this? Is why we wanted to cover this as a special interview. Well, we're going to take a short song break. So how about this one? 24K Magic by Bruno Mars.
I just wanna take you away, fly eyes up in the sky. Let's set this party on fire. Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out! Pop, pop, it's showtime. Showtime, showtime, showtime. Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Downtown, oh, they don't know. Downtown, I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Showed up, I'm wearing Cuban links. Yeah. Designer mix. Yeah. Inglewood's finest shoes. Whoop, whoop. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Known to give the color red the blues. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out! Second verse for the hustlers, gangsters, then your ugly friends. I cannot preach, I cannot preach. I gotta show them how I get it in. First, take your sip, do your dip, spend your money like money. Ooh, ooh, we too fresh. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? What you trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Now, watch me break it down like 24 karat, 24 karat. What's that sound? 24 karat. Come on now. 24 karat, 24 karat magic. Don't fight the feeling, invite the feeling. Just put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? Tell me what you're trying to do. 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It is now time for Skills 101. We have Jennifer here.
Hello. Good morning. It's always nice to be here.
Yes. Did you like our interview on gold?
Oh, yeah.
We were listening so intently, like, should we sell? Should we? And the comments that are popping up, like, a lot of people say, oh, so I guess I'm going to keep it. And, like, I think Tommy was saying, I keep all of my children's gold, like the rings, like 돌반지. 부모님들 만약에 듣고 있으면 돌반지 다 가지고 있나 아니면 팔았을까요?
It's gone.
Gone.
It's in the history.
Oh, like misplaced.
Misplaced.
Yes. Hey, also for a text topic, we're talking about like first lesson or 학원 or class that you took, and also the latest or last class that you took.
Oh, there was something called a 주산학원.
Abacus, right? That was your
that
first?
tells my age.
Oh, really?
But now you cannot find this.
So Tommy was saying that, and then so our producer, she actually looked it up just to see. 그러니까 몇 개 있기는 있는데, and I've heard like some schools have the after school 방과 후로는 있다고 저는 들었는데 very rare these days, right?
And I remember going to speech school, like 웅변학원.
웅변학원. Is that what it's called? Speech school.
Yeah.
What about the latest class you took as an adult?
Oh, swimming class.
And how did that go?
I still can't swim.
Oh, really? How long did you take swimming lessons for?
Oh, for 1 month. And I gave up.
Gave up?
It was my third attempt.
Third round of lessons
for me.
For your coach. No,
exactly.
Oh, really interesting. Swimming is not your thing.
Well, I'll try again.
Yes, never say never. Yes. All right. We're going to jump into Skills 101. So what are we getting into today?
Well, these days, many people experience feeling a little overwhelmed with all the notifications, emails, and endless content online.
Yes.
So it makes us feel like our attention span is getting shorter by the day.
I so agree. Like I was complaining even about just getting so many messages for the governor of education. I mean, I've been asking.
Oh, that's so
다
annoying.
많이 받고 있잖아요. I'm just like, oh, can you stop? Like, but I mean, I'm curious in the
I'm
policies.
getting these phone calls as well.
too.
The automated message.
Right. That as well, and like all the social media, email notification, the alarms and alerts is just like so many. I agree. So I'm assuming, are we going to talk about like learning how to maybe focus better?
So today we are diving into how to stay focused in a distracted world.
Okay.
이 혼란스러운 정보의 파도 속에서 어떻게 집중력을 유지하는지 그것이 오늘의 주제입니다. So with the constant buzz of social media, news updates, and even AI-generated content, our ability to focus is under attack. Not only children, adults as well. But the good news is we can train our minds to resist distractions and build stronger concentration skills.
Well, I personally think this is a great topic. This is something that we can really use and maybe we need right now. So where are we going to begin? Because like the focus and the struggle to focus, I'm sure it's a struggle for many people.
Yeah, we need training. So, our brains are wired to seek novelty. 항상 우리는 새로운 걸 추구하잖아요. 우리 뇌는. Every time we get a new notification or scroll through something interesting, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical.
Sure.
So, over time, we get addicted to constant stimulation, which makes deep focus even harder. Because we're always expecting something new.
Yes, something new, like to be stimulated and to keep me entertained like all the time.
Yeah,
and then you didn't just say focus, but like the deep focus, right?
Deep focus.
Right, like even like with like like 책 읽기, not skimming, but like really real reading, like deep reading.
Yeah, because we can concentrate like for 3 minutes.
Yes, yes.
That's not hard, but having full concentration for 30 minutes, that is hard, right?
Yes, yes. So how can we break free from this like cycle and, try to get focused?
Yeah, okay. So let me introduce a few strategies. First, eliminate digital distractions. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Use do not disturb mode. And set application time limits. The fewer interruptions, the better your focus. The thing is, we can do this. We do this to children, right?
Yes.
We limit their screen time.
I did, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But we should really do it to ourselves as well.
무제한으로 계속 보고 있으면 안 되잖아요, right? So I've actually done this. So I do have a do not disturb mode, especially during sleep hours now, because I didn't before, and like I would wake up at like the slightest alert, buzz, alarm, or if somebody accidentally texted me or like called me, whatever it was. So I had a do not disturb. I set it up.
Yeah.
So I feel like I know it's on. And it's like, that is my precious time for sleep, for recovery, to, battle it out the next day.
And even when you're not sleeping, when you need to get your work done, what helps me is this airplane mode. I set up for 1 hour and really focus on my work and turn it back on.
Okay. Yeah.
And the second thing is practice deep work.
Okay, what is deep work?
Set aside a dedicated time for intense focused time, work time without any distractions. So try the Pomodoro technique we talked about before. So 20 minutes of work followed by a 5-minute break.
That's so doable though. When you think about it, we can work intensely for 25 minutes without any distractions. Like don't check your email, don't unless your work is email, like checking your emails, but like, right. Or like social media, don't look at your phone. Right. Okay. That's doable.
And train your brain to enjoy boredom. We don't always have to be entertained full time, Letting our minds wander can actually boost creativity and problem-solving skills.
Right.
I mean, in my case, those good ideas, like great ideas come up when I'm taking a walk, when I'm resting, not when I'm working.
That's true though. And I remember Bonnie, she covered this as well, to really like enjoy, like, for our health sake, to kind of, it's okay to be bored. Be bored, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And fourth, mindful consumption. Be selective about what information you take in. So instead of endlessly scrolling, ask yourself, is this helping me or is this just noise? Rubbish. Because sometimes we scroll down and down and down.
But some of them are so like, like there's one account that kind of like brightens my, well, it's not, they set up a new video. I don't want to advertise it, but it's about like a cooking segment between a father and son. The boy's name is Levi. And so I know some of you probably know who this is, but it's like, that kind of brightens up my day when I see, that account pop up.
Oh, you can't stop, right?
Yeah. So is this helping me or is it just noise?
No.
That's a good question.
Yeah, or
Right.
if it's entertaining and really enjoy it, you can say, okay, only 3.
Okay. Limit
now.
yourself.
Yeah, limit yourself.
Okay. And what else can we do?
And most importantly, take care of your body. A good night's sleep, proper nutrition, and exercise. Just the proper exercise, they all play a huge role in our ability to concentrate.
But for me, especially, all 3 are important. But I notice, like, if I have really, like, insufficient sleep, fewer than the 5 hours that I get on average. I know that's bad. I know it's 7 to 9. But if I get fewer than 5 hours, like if I'm on 4 hours, my concentration, like my mind is everywhere. Like it's just like I'm not functioning well, kind of like a zombie. And also like the whole nutrition thing. When I'm like hangry, when I'm at the point, I can't concentrate.
I become so moody as well.
I get so irritable. Like I fear for the people around me. 제 주변에 있는 사람한테 조금 미안할 때가 있어요. Because Monday, for example, this happened on Monday. I went from radio 2 hours, and then I had a 2-hour class in the morning. That's 4 hours, and then I had in the afternoon, back to back 2 hours. That was 8 hours of non-stop like talking. I didn't even have time barely to drink water. And then after, I didn't eat all day. And then I saw my sister. And I was so irritable. And then she grabbed my arm and she said, "언니," she goes, "Did you eat?" And I was like, "You're right. I didn't eat all day." Right.
Okay.
So you're right about the proper nutrition.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so important. And even big thinkers like
Yes.
Bill Gates and Warren Buffett swear by deep focus. In fact, they credit much of their success to their ability to work without distractions. So Gates even takes think weeks. Well, where he isolates himself just to read and think deeply.
He has the time and the resources, though. Think week. So maybe we can't take the entire week off. That's a little much.
Maybe think hours.
Even just like think half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah.
Right, here and there, because like we don't have the luxury of taking a week off, right?
That's right. That's right. Most people don't have that.
Right. And so to wrap up, if we want to improve our focus, you said start by getting rid of the digital distractions, right? And then kind of maybe training your brain with deep work. And then also be mindful about the content that you're consuming constantly.
Yeah,
Yes?
exactly. And speaking of deep work, I've heard that getting into a flow state, 그 몰입의 과정에 다다르는 거,
Yes, yes.
that zone where time flies and you're fully immersed can really boost the productivity.
Right. So that is definitely something that is doable, may not seem that easy. So how can we get into this flow state?
Okay. One key to reaching a flow state is minimizing interruptions. If you keep stopping to check messages or
Yes.
emails, which I sometimes do, I'm also guilty of that, it's almost impossible to stay in that focused zone. So creating a distraction-free environment is crucial.
Okay.
So you gotta create that environment for yourself.
Okay. What else?
And research shows that multitasking actually reduces efficiency and increases mistakes.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, which
I
I've
agree.
also witnessed. I send email and without attachment, and I have to send it again. And,
Right.
It's so annoying. Yeah.
Yes.
Our brains work best when they focus on one task at a time.
That's true.
So instead of juggling 5 things at once, it's better to fully concentrate on one and then move on to the next one.
Right. And I've heard scientists, they say how we're not technically really multitasking. There is no real multitasking when it's just quickly moving in between or among different things. Right. So true multitasking is really difficult to do when you think about it. Your brain doing something at the same time, 2 things at the same time. Is it true multitasking, or are you going in between, back and forth between 2 things, right?
Yeah.
That whole idea.
Exactly.
And so anything else we should keep an eye on?
Well, at the end of the day, improving focus isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter.
Okay.
And being intentional with how we use our attention and time.
So definitely a lot of food for thought. Things that we can work on individually.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we know this already, but it's so hard to do
We
it.
need constant reminders. We
Yeah.
do. We do, because we know, we know we should be getting, what was it? 만보도 이제 지금 15,000으로 올라가고. The new research was saying it's
really?
15,000 steps now.
Oh, no.
I know everybody was like, oh no. But even with our brains, with all the clutter, we know we should be cluttering and whatnot. But anyhow, thank you so much for all your tips.
Thank
and
you.
we'll check in with you next week.
Okay, we'll do. Bye-bye.
All right. So listeners, we went over a myriad of topics today. We talked about our first private classes, our lessons, and the last. Well, I'm hoping that even as adults, because, all the kids are off to school, obviously, it's 8:51, that even as adults that we have an open heart to learn more, whether it's something physical, like some sort of spinning class, or whether it's something one-on-one, taking, getting some English tutoring or learning another language, that we are in constant motion and trying to improve ourselves by taking these types of steps. And you know what? It doesn't have to be expensive. There are plenty of these community centers that you can go to that are very low cost as well. All right, I do also want to remind you, I know that we talked about the fine dust that's coming our way, the 황사, the yellow dust that's coming our way real soon, but also that we need to be careful in preventing wildfires. It's still that season. So don't burn rice paddies or banks around fields, agricultural debris, or trash in forest areas. Also, absolutely no dumping of cigarette butts because they might cause fires, especially on the road while you're driving. And do not carry flammable materials like lighters or burners when you do go up into the mountains. So we want to be safe as we take those 15,000 steps. That's what we're aiming for right now, right? So be careful out there and be mindful of how we go about, treating nature, because ultimately it all comes back to us, does it not? And it is smack in the middle of the week. It's hump day. It is. So today might be extra tough, but after we get over this hump, we can look forward to Thursday, Friday, and then our favorite days, Saturday and Sunday. Wishing you nothing but the best today, of course. Morning Wave in Busan is produced by Cho Yun-jin. We have our writers Haley and Annie. Always big thanks to them doing all the hard work behind the scenes. I'm your host, Catherine. I'll be back to do it all over again tomorrow. Final song for today is this one. This is 인형 by Baby Box as requested by Benny. So have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
모든 게 오해의 길은 나만의 착각의 길은 차가운 입맞춤의 기억이 머리를 맴돌다가 그치길 바랬어 모르고 있었는지 모르고 싶었었는지 처음부터 그대 안에 누군가 있었대도 난 괜찮아 얘기하다 그대의 방황이 조금 더 머물길 바랬어 한기야 그대의 웃음이 내 안에 눈물로 남겨져 내게 머물렀던 그 짧은 날 시간 속에서 난 인형이었을 뿐 다음 사람에게 더 미안해지지 않게 난 여기서 멈추지만 흐르는 눈물까지 멈출 수 없나 봐 어디로 가야 하는지 얼마나 남아있는지 날 다시 어둠으로 몰아낸 그녀는 전사처럼 네 곁에 있겠지 너 없이 너를 만나 너 없이 난 얘기하고 너 없이 웃고 있는 나조차 싫어지는 내 모습 나에게 다가온 그대의 방황이 조금 더 머물길 바랬어 한기야 그대의 웃음 눈물로 남겨져 내게 머물렀던 그 짧은 날 시간 속에서 난 인형이었을 뿐 다음 사람에게 더 미안해지지 않게 난 여기서 멈추지만 흐르는 눈물까지 멈출 수 없나 봐 너 없이 너를 만나 너 없이 난 얘기하고 너 없이 웃고 있는 나조차 싫어지는 내 모습에 밤이 지나면 나조차 모르게 사랑은 조금 더 커지고 눈부신 햇살에 조금 더 멀어진 그대는 눈물이 되겠지 모두 흘려내려 나 이제야 변해 또 다른 사랑을 할 수 있게 모두 잊어줄게 그 작았던 기회까지도 난 모두 잊어줄게 내게 필요한 존재같이 떠나간다 해도 그대 잡진 않지 다시 돌아온다 해도 원진 않지 나도 이제 흔들려 어쩔 수가 없나 봐 거봐 한편으로 내게 들어와 모든 걸 포기한 채 나는 살아가고파 더 이상 이제 난 널 바라보지 않아 그러니 이제 날 떠나 내게 머물렀던 그 짧은 날 시간 속에서 난 인형이었을 뿐 모두 잊어줄게 그 작았던
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재